Hi Andrii, Daphne here. Thank you for your feedback. I'm really glad you found the corrections helpful and very good that you noticed some mistakes, because noticing is a really, really big part of learning. If you notice something, then you will be taking it on board, you'll be thinking about it. That's absolutely what we want. Well done. So you recently took a trip to another city, you plan to visit your friend. Oh, you didn't see them. Okay, so you're absolutely right. Informal letter. Okay. Hope this finds you well. I've recently been to Toronto for a business trip and I really wanted to see you and give you a hug. Oh yeah, we miss hugs now. But unfortunately I couldn't. It was a while since we'd had a chance to grab some coffee together and it was upsetting to leave the city without seeing you. Now, we need to get in this idea that you were planning to meet, okay? Give you a hug, maybe put as we had planned. So, as you know, just something to get in this idea of you had a plan, yeah? And they knew your plan, not just you knew your plan, okay? So this indicates that you've had some correspondence before. But lovely, very nice. I was hoping my evening would be free. You don't need that, actually. I mean, yes, technically, but when you're kind of speaking informally or writing, you don't have to have it. Would be free. We don't say absolutely free, we say completely free in this context. Out of the blue, my neighbour called me and said my mother had suddenly felt bad and fainted. I wouldn't say felt bad. It's okay in speaking, it's not okay in writing. And remember, this is an exam. So felt ill and fainted. I was really scared because it has already happened before. And I know she might have a panic attack. Panic attack if I understand. I know she... I think I'd go present tense here. I mean, technically you're okay. Absolutely lovely. But I think for fluency, I would say, I know that she's, great word here, susceptible. Oh, hang on, I can't even spell it. Susceptible. No. There you go. To panic attacks in my absence, or if I am not around, so the present, okay? If I were not around, if I'm not around, you see, it's that were. I think you need a present tense verb there. But very nice, obviously. She's been doing better the last few days. So I think I'm safe to travel to your place now. Love to see you and get together at your favourite coffee shop as we can. Different time would work. What time would, and I would just, instead of saying that again, because it sort of feels a bit long, I'd say what time would suit. Okay, super good. Really, really lovely letter there. Wow, absolutely no problems at all. That's very good. You can cut it down a bit, okay? I'd aim for 180. I would not aim for more. Remember, the task 2 has twice as many marks as task 1, so it's heavily weighted towards the task 2. Obviously, you've got to do well in the task 1, but if you're short of time, focus on this. Okay. Nowadays, so let's just check. High number of words. Yeah, you're right. You do. The essay structure does push the word count up, but what we'll do is I'll show you which bits we could cut. So kind of use the idea of it now, because it just gets the essay in a really nice order, and then we can kind of take bits out and play around with it and everything. Okay. If time is an issue, absolutely you need to be aware of that. Okay. Nowadays, many people live and work in a fast-paced environment where numerous tasks and errands have to be performed quickly and often simultaneously. Leading sociologists and nutritionists agree this lifestyle has contributed, so here definitely present perfect, because it's not finished. Has contributed. So if it was finished, we go past simple, but it hasn't finished. to the increased popularity of fast food places, replacing more common food. I would say or maybe not replacing more common foods. Maybe just replacing traditional outlets or cafes or whatever. When you talk about it's the mismatch of common food places, which is a restaurant, and food, which is food. So the two things don't kind of contrast like you want them to, which is negatively affecting modern society on a different scale. Different scale? I just say on many levels. Yeah, I strongly agree with their conclusion. Says it's nearly impossible to deny. Yeah, you don't need this. As I'd cut that. Remember the flow, the coherence. The flow is really important. That is very nice English, but I don't need it. It kind of slows me down. Sometimes it's best to kind of take out words rather than put more in. As the increasing growth of health issues to negatively affected obesity. Hang on. As conclusions. Sorry, I want to get this word deny in here. Conclusions. Stating. You could have then. Or conclusions illustrating. Oh no, come on. Explaining. I'm just going to go about because I can't think of the right word, but it'll come back to me. Conclusions about increasing growth of health issues such as obesity. That you need to repeat again here: the decreasing popularity of traditional restaurants and the diminishing time for family. I don't think you need that because you've already said that above. So I'd cut that as well. I'm just looking at cuts because you've talked about that here. The increasing conclusions. The increasing growth of health issues such as obesity and the diminishing of time for family meals. Okay? On a small scale, many individuals experience a significant deterioration of their health due to a less balanced diet. Indeed, traditional meals on average, contain more vitamins and minerals and provide a diverse range of beneficial. Now you're comparing, so you need to have here a more diverse. You're comparing one to the other. Pre-cooked analogues. Analogues? I don't think I'd use analogues when I'm talking about food like that. I go equivalents. And you could have here such as burgers or kebabs. I think it's okay. I think it's important to kind of give an example so we all know what you're talking about. A lack of proper dietary components strongly correlates with impaired health indicators and increased likelihood of obesity. For example, the majority of physicians report their patients who experience high blood pressure also consume absolutely really, really nice. And therefore, it's clear that many people sacrifice their health. You could say it may inadvertently sacrifice their health in favour of more convenient and accessible foods. Okay. Yeah, I really like this, Andrii. I think you're doing a fantastic job here. This is a pleasure to read. Really, really interesting essay. You've got fabulous vocabulary in there. Really excellent range of vocab, making a very clear argument in here. So what I'm adding, I hope, is kind of extra little bits here. On a greater scale, families, I quite like this. Yeah. But is it on a small and on a greater? Yeah, this is pretty massive, the obesity problem. If you're going on a small scale, because it's not really a small scale, so I think I might question this on a small scale, on a greater scale. I'm just going to put a kind of question mark over that, okay? Because see what you think. I mean, I don't think there's any difference in importance. If you go on a small or on a greater, you're suggesting that there's difference in relevance or difference in importance. And I think this is just as much of a problem as this. I know what you mean in terms of society. So I think you're absolutely right to make your point here. It's just this bit that I would sort of question. What we could say is on a health level and on a society level, okay, or on a broader society level, something like that. But I wouldn't do small and great. I think you could say many families and society as a whole, or an even society as a whole, has undergone as present perfect again, okay, has also undergone. Watch out on these tenses. Present perfect is really useful. We use it a lot. You're talking about stuff that has started that hasn't finished. Some adverse changes due to shifted dietary preferences. As food has become more accessible, the family tradition of having dinner together has been slowly vanishing. Good, because dining separately fits everyone's schedule better. Not always, luckily, but often. So let's use these little words. They're called hedging. They're little words which just work quite nicely with this sort of academic style of writing. Furthermore, this tendency has lowered. So again, present perfect. The income of many traditional restaurants that were already operating, yes, that's fine, on narrow profit margins, causing many professional cooks and restaurant managers to be laid off. A recent study showed the number of sit-down restaurants featuring national cuisine in large cities has been declining for the last... so you need to put that in commas. You don't need that. If you're short of time, it's lovely, but you don't need it, okay? Of sit down, you want to say kind of, why don't you go, no, maybe not, a sit down quality restaurants you could have has been declining. Now, as they simply can't is fine, but let's upgrade due to their inability to compete. Okay? So I really don't like they. It's just a personal thing. Nothing's wrong with it, okay? But I like this better. So due to their inability to compete with, so you'd come into this, okay? It's just, I feel, in kind of academic writing, if we can possibly find a way around they or we or whatever, we should try. Thus, it's possible to stay beyond the culture of fast food indirectly. Again, present perfect. Or indirectly affects, or, I mean, for me, I think this all should be in the past perfect. This paragraph has indirectly affected. Also, you're going to get more points for grammar, remember. It is really important to pick up those grammar points where we can. Very nice argument. To conclude, absolutely certain hectic modern lifestyle promotes less discriminating dining choices, which could result in poorer health, decreased time. Yay, wow. That's one of the best of those essays I've read for a long time. Congratulations, I really love that. Well done. Hope my little corrections help. And thank you for your corrections and your really hard work. Well done.